Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in, back with another video a day till this channel hits 100K. Today, I decided I'm going to do a little bit of a public service announcement. It has to do about this GPS tracker that I found on my 2024 GMC Sierra. Found one similarly on my wife's vehicle. I made some videos about it, and I have got a ton of comments from people who have since found these GPS trackers on their vehicles after watching my videos. I went out to a lot today, and we're going to get to some of these other comments that I saw, but I went to a local lot today. One of the comments I get a lot from people, which drives me nuts, is this GPS tracker is somehow tied to like a subprime loan. This is kind of a common thing in buy here, pay here lots, but I will tell you, if you go to a new car dealership and you open the door and every OBD2 port has one of these on there, the vehicle's not sold yet. They don't know who your loan is going through, so it can't be there for the bank because they don't know who the bank is yet. So this is nonsense. The lot that I went to today had these marked at $700 on every new vehicle. And funny is, on all their used vehicles, they only had it at $300. Same device, new cars, $700, used cars, $300. Same device. Why is it cheaper on a used car than it is on a new car? This device I find to be, in my opinion, quite sinister. And based on the conversation I had with a dealership today, it's mind-blowing. I'll share on a video coming up later on this week. I'm gonna have to edit this all together, but basically was, well, hey, we gotta make money. And I brought up, well, what about consumer privacy concerns? What about the fact that when you send people out the lot with this thing on their vehicle, that you don't know what happens with this device? They may not even know it's there. I have tons of comments on my channel from people saying, I didn't even know that thing had existed. I would say if you have it on your vehicle, look at your OBD2 port, yank it off, because it probably serves no value. Unless you're one of the people out there who's driving around with this thing and you love it, drop a comment down below and let me know, because I can't imagine there's a whole lot of them. Let's look at some of the comments that I've seen on some of my videos here. I paid cash for a new truck, drove it off the lot, was never told the dealer had installed the tracker. I happened to find it when I was putting the floor mats in after cleaning them. The dealership denied any knowledge of it. That's actually a big problem with this GPS tracker too, is for me, you are selling this to somebody, it gets activated. They then trade their vehicle in, forget that they had it in there, or never even knew it was in there in the first place, whatever it is. Well, as long as this is attached to the OBD2 port, whoever had the original vehicle, let's say I left my wallet in an old vehicle, or I think I left something in one of my old cars. Oh, it had that tracking device in there. If the new car owner doesn't know that this is in there, you're able to track that. There's no way, chain of custody wise, to know what happens to this after the vehicle is sold. People who buy a new vehicle are much more likely to try to reset OnStar or any of those baked in OEM features because it's their new vehicle. Well, something plugged into the OBD2 port, hidden behind the dash, they probably don't know is there. Who's tracking you in your used vehicle? That's horrifying. I bought my Mustang brand new, paid cash, no loans. Found it a week later when I was vacuuming the car. Noticed the OBD2 port looked different. I got a call from the dealer rep from a third party saying they noticed it was off and they wanted to know why. I asked, why is it there when I own the vehicle free and clear? They refused to answer and even tried threatening me with lawsuits if it wasn't reinstalled. Well, just so you guys know, there is some sort of thing on the back end where, like, if it's not either activated or you don't go through your activation process, they need to pay for this thing. So if they need to pay for it, and it's hilarious because it's like under $100, I think is what the price is for it. You'd have to check. They publish these numbers, Icon does. So if you disconnect it, they want you to pay $700 for it. But if you disconnect it and don't activate it, they want that thing back immediately because they don't want to pay $100 for it. And by the way, they used it for their dealer lot management. So it doesn't have any value for them there unless they're getting it for free or at an incredibly reduced cost, to the point where if they need to pay $100 for it, they want to know why you disconnected it. That should be a huge red flag there. We bought a used car paying cash and still found one. I removed it and got a call from a dealership. A month later, they wanted the tracker back. I told them I bought the car as is with everything attached to it and do with it as they please. I told them sue me or eat shit. I never heard from them again. Well done, sir. I had a dealer tell me that there was a device installed by the dealer and that it was a required add-on. I told them I didn't want it and wasn't paying for it and told them to uninstall it. They told me they couldn't uninstall it. Similar thing that I was told. I laughed and said to the guy, you mean you can't uninstall? You mean you installed it, but you can't uninstall it? Do you know how stupid that sounds? Of course they got angry, and I got up and walked out. The manager chased me down in the parking lot, still trying to close the deal because, well, they're salespeople, and I just kept walking. It's annoying that some dealers think the only way they can make money is by being complete scum. Totally agree. Used car dealer had an Icon technology device installed. I had the fee waived. When I protested not needing their tracker about 2 weeks later, I did some searching under the hood and I saw extra wires attached to one of my batteries. Yoink. I traced the wires to the Icon tracker, which was mounted under the main fuse panel. Now, some of these dealers get really good at hiding these things. The dealerships I see around here, they just lazily plug them into the OBD2 port, strap it up behind the dash, and I think it's because they just hope that you never notice it, at least to the point where it gets through the consignment phase and they don't have to pay for it anymore. But some of these dealers, they hide them underneath battery boxes. You really have to take a look. But what I will tell you is that this thing needs power, and it will be by a power source. So it'll be hanging out by your OBD2 port. It'll be hanging out under the engine bay by a fuse box, by your battery, or on the inside of your car in the internal fuse box. It'll be hanging around somewhere within the length of this wire here, because that's the length that they have. And I think, honestly, most people installing these are probably super lazy, because I can't imagine they're getting paid very well. If I was the OEM, would be telling dealers, you are not to be installing anything on the OBD2 port, because this is a brand new vehicle. You can't be splicing into the electronics as a dealer adding things on that are not OEM, because it is a new vehicle. This is one of the comments I love. Good video. I did go look, and there was one on my 2024 Ram. Only had it a couple months. I did see a wire that looked out of place a week or so ago, and I thought, I'll check it out later, but I seen your video and a light went off in my head, so I went to check that out. Sure enough, it was there. Thanks, good info. We'll never buy from that dealer again. If the dealers are doing this kind of stuff, do not go back to them. Now that they know the customers will be looking out for that, now we have to go look at the whole car for hidden GPS trackers. All states just need to outlaw this practice. Super helpful video. Found an Icon, non-attached the battery in the engine bay, called the dealer, letting them know I'll be removing it, and they offered to remove it themselves for free. For them, it was more inventory management, apparently. It was installed before I bought it. They did not put up a fight about it at all. I don't know of any dealerships that are using this just for dealer inventory management and then not charging customers for it on, I don't know, maybe it's possible. I suppose anything is possible, right? In most states, it's illegal for anyone to install a GPS tracker on your vehicle without your consent, even if the information was somewhere hidden in fine print. If they do not disclose that they have installed a GPS tracking device on your vehicle, you can get them in serious trouble. You have to acknowledge that they have your permission for the tracking device. I love the fact that people are seeing the videos, they're checking their cars, because that means they don't know that it's there, which means they got no value out of this thing whatsoever if they have no idea it even exists. And the fact that they're yanking them out of their cars, I haven't seen anybody in here who's like, hey, I actually have this thing and I love it. Not one person is defending this thing. Some people are just defending, like, who cares because you're being tracked with everything else. That's not really defending this. Kind of goes to show that you have to question the legitimacy of something where there's not a bunch of people saying, like, hey, no, I love that thing because it gives me this benefit or that benefit. Most of the comments here are like, I had no idea this thing was even on my car, and not too thrilled about it. Go check your OBD2 port. I will link the videos in the description down below where I show you where to look for these things, how to remove them. If they're plugged into your OBD2 port, you can just unplug it. It's not going to damage anything. It is not part of any of your OEM systems whatsoever. There is no harm to yanking this thing out. Potential harm for leaving it in, because who knows who's got access to that tracking data, who knows how they're selling your data. I'll also link in the description down below a link to Icon Technology's Terms of Service. I suggest you go read it because it's pretty loosey-goosey, and go watch the other two videos I made of this. It's my goal with this series in general is to get it out there to as many people as possible to look for this kind of thing, because, again, I just have a big problem with local businesses, as I've called this before, blow darting you with a GPS unit like you're some National Geographic wildlife animal they're going to track for the next 10 years just to see where is this person going to go and how can we try to sell them stuff later. I'm not cool with it. So I will have a very thorough dealer add-on video coming up later this week. If you're interested, please hit that subscribe button. With that said, thank you guys very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow.